Whoa. Are you okay? Hey, thanks for watching that. I wanted to give you a little behind the scenes on how I created that. This isn't a full tutorial, but it'll give you the idea of how I went creating this animation. This animation I posted on LinkedIn and actually got over 50,000 impressions and over 1,200 likes in less than 24 hours. So you can create something like this and post it on your social media and professional profiles and hopefully gain some attention. So hopefully you'll get something out of this behind the scenes. First things first, I shot the video. I knew I wanted to do it with a vertical format, and because I was going to post it to social media, it was going to work a bit more natively. It'll appear as if it was filmed off the cuff. So it'll look a bit more natural than if I set everything up just perfect. So that's why I chose vertical, and I didn't know exactly what I was going to have Homer do when I filmed it. I actually kind of discovered that by looking at reference of pictures of Homer. Originally, I was going to have him sitting on the couch and then step out, but then I saw some reference of him laying on the couch, and it seemed to be more in tune with his character if he rolled out and kind of fell and had this kind of slapstick moment where he falls on his face. So I thought that'd get a bit more of a reaction. And if it happened very quickly, I could hide the kind of change from being in the mural to being in the real world. Once I got the footage, I brought it into reality capture and actually tried to track the camera in reality capture, and it didn't work that great. It worked like 99% of the way there, and it missed a chunk of the camera animation that I really needed, so I couldn't use that method. I actually wrote on my own Python script so I could combine all of the pictures into one single camera inside of Maya, but I didn't end up using that. I tried Blender as well, but it just couldn't track. It was too much to manage, and I chose to use Synthesize instead, which was basically a one-click solution for tracking this shot. I'm trying some other shots and it's having a hard time like other trackers are because of motion blur. I do like Synthesize so far. Once I had that tracked, I knew that there was a Homer rig already built by an artist named Kareem Kashifi, and I downloaded that from where he has it posted. I'll post a link in the description below. I already had a rig, so that was perfect, and I could quickly get right into animation. Now that I have a tracked camera, I could bring that inside of Maya by exporting FBX from Synthesize. Now I have that inside of Maya, and I can get to work animating. There were some gimbal issues because I had to rotate the whole character 90 degrees and then rotate them out of the couch and then back up. So I had to use constraints and locators to help manage that gimbal issue. I spent roughly maybe 4 to 6 hours on the animation. It's not super polished, but it was good enough. And that's what I wanted to try to do because I was only doing this over a weekend. And so I only did 4 to 6 hours of animation. I ended up using some lattices to help smash his face into the ground and his belly into the ground so that it wouldn't just go straight through the geometry of the floor, but kind of be mushed a little bit. So tried to add a little bit of detail like that to the animation. I ended up using Redshift render for this because I have a decent GPU. It's like a 2080 Ti, whatever. I'm not a big hardware guy. When I first started rendering, it was about 8 minutes a frame, which was going to take days to render this animation. And after messing with some samples, I got that render time down per frame to about 2 minutes a frame. It was only going to take, I think, around 15 or 16 hours to get this rendered. Then inside of After Effects, I brought the renders in and I used Lockdown to do another track so that I could paint out where the drawn lines were on the couch where Homer was going to be laying on top of. And I only wanted to bring in the kind of texture from the wall and lay it back on top of Homer, especially the kind of grout lines that run across the wall. I wanted to make sure those were on top of Homer. And so I had to use Lockdown to track a paint back on and basically take a very contrasty tinted version, a black and white version, and then I could multiply that back on top of Homer. And then I could just switch that off when he rolls out of the couch. For sound design, I chose a little bit that I could find from my account on Audio Socket, and I also did my own Foley. My favorite part of this, I love doing Foley because it's fun to like react to watching it happen. But I also liked adding, it wasn't my fart noise, it was one I got off the internet, but I added it in there and I don't think many people hear it. So see if you can hear where the fart noise is in this animation. So that's basically the summary of how I was able to create this animation. Let me know if you want to see more stuff like this, or if you want to learn more about animation. I have Animator's Journey, which will take you from having no experience to having a proficient level of experience. Actually, one of my mentored students just got their first interview, and after 4 months of working, having never animated, and then 4 months of working in Animator's Journey, they got their first interview. So I'm super proud of them. And that is definitely not the average. They're definitely above average, but I think Animator's Journey is really helping a lot of people. So if you want to check that out, animatorsjourney.com, that's where I teach how to animate. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.